Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a comparison for you guys today of the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. This is the 14-inch and the Wacom Cintiq Pro 24-inch. So I'll go into a few details, but just for those of you who want kind of my opinion just without watching all the stuff, basically I am returning the Mobile Studio Pro. I don't really think it's as mobile for the purposes that I was thinking of. I was thinking of mobile as in the sense of being able to take it you know, into my bedroom or by a river. But honestly, the battery dies within like an hour of just using one painting program like Corel Painter. So it's mobile in the sense that like if you're gonna go to a coffee shop and can keep it plugged in, then, you know, if that's what you're thinking of, then it can work for that. But even outside of the mobility issue, I found that this just doesn't seem to have enough power to like handle drawing comfortably and easily that the Cintiq Pro has. So I tried both of them now, and I'll try to give you a few examples, but drawing on this just feels so much better. Corel Painter, I'm able to zoom in and out with my fingers very easily, whereas on the Mobile Studio Pro, it's really glitchy and it lags, and I've found it rather troublesome to the point of, you know, not being enjoyable. So that's kind of my little take right there, but now I'll go into just showing you some details about that. I'm going to show you guys now on the Cintiq Pro 24 just how easy it is to zoom in and out, just how responsive it is with the canvas. So you can see it turning, you can see just how quickly it can zoom in and out. You see that? So that works really good. Now if you compare that to the Mobile Studio Pro, and do you see how it's zooming, but it's much slower and it's just not nearly as responsive. Do you see how it just flipped around? And I don't even know how I did that. So I just find it a lot more tricky trying to get the placement that I want. And then what happens on this particular one is that after a little while of using it, it'll just actually stop responding. And what I have to do is I have to minimize the screen. I minimize it and then I reopen it, and then the zoom with my fingers will work again typically, usually, but then it could stop again like a couple minutes later. And you can just see how the responsiveness, I just can't be as exact because it's not responding nearly as well. Yeah. Oops, see, and I just accidentally colored something with paint. And that's what starts happening. Okay, actually, here we go. We got it on camera. So basically, hold on. Okay, basically, so what's happening right now is the zoom has stopped functioning in Corel Painter, and now I just got a painter mark right here. So watch, I'm going to try to see, it's not zooming like it should. I got a painter mark. See, I tried to shrink it, painter mark. So let's see if either sometimes saving it or minimizing it works. But you know, I just don't want to have to do that if there's something else that won't do that. So let's see. See, so now it's working again. That's my son.
Barely.
Yeah, so, but see, it stopped working after just a couple minutes. And then if we go back, can you go over there and do the other one, babe, for me? If we go back to here, go ahead and zoom with that one. See how it's just so much more responsive, so much faster. Look over a sec. Like it just gets like super big really fast and really responsive. And I have not had, this is Corel Painter as well, I haven't had it freeze on me in the same way yet. So I don't know if it's just the difference in the specs. My computer, you know, has obviously, it's just better than the Mobile Studio Pro computer that it is. So, but I just wanted to show that to you guys. Okay, here we go, side by side test. Ready? Go ahead. Can you do a bigger, more? Come on. Okay, now we have two canvases that are the same size. We're using the same exact brush, oil fine soft glazing, the same size, and we're just going to draw with it. Okay, go ahead. Ready? Yeah, so actually this brush is pretty good. Okay, so here's another test. This is with the Digital Watercolor Coarse Mop Brush 2, size 300 brush. Okay, go ahead. Can you go fast? So if you notice, his is going fast, but mine is having a delay. Try yours again and see if it has a delay. No, not, huh? Here, let's switch. Here, switch places.
Oh man, this thing is laggy. Oh,
yeah, so that's kind of one example. So obviously,
still doing it.
It's okay.
Look, it looks like a replay.
Yeah, it does. So obviously, you're not always using huge brushes like this, and on the sketch brushes, like pencils and small pens for outlining, it's totally fine on both of them. But you know, if you're trying to do background work, it's kind of frustrating if you're getting a lot of lag on the larger brushes, I feel like. All right, so this is just a little test of using more of like a sketching type pencil. Go ahead. So that works pretty good on both of them. So there's not really any problem, I don't think, with the sketching.
I'm not very good at drawing. Oh man. Look at that.
Here, let's switch. So guys, just to wrap up, I was, my bad, earlier I was calling this the Mobile Studio Pro 14. It's the 16-inch. There's a 13 and a 16. There's no 14. So Mobile Studio Pro 16-inch by Wacom, and then the Cintiq Pro 24-inch by Wacom. So just to wrap up, if you're getting the touch version, which is what I did with the Cintiq Pro, just keep in mind that like this was about $2,700 at the time that I purchased it, and this with the touch is $2,400. So it's cheaper, and as you can see, it's like quite a bit bigger. The downside, of course, is that it has to be connected to your computer. The Cintiq Pro, it's not a standalone, and that's what's supposed to be special about the Mobile Studio Pro, is that it's its own computer. It's like a tablet computer. But like I said, I just don't feel like, I have a review. It should be maybe up to the right somewhere or the left. Another video comparing the Mobile Studio Pro with iPad Pro, because I also tried that out, and you'll be able to see the differences. But by far the iPad Pro, if what matters to you is kind of having a standalone tablet that you can take anywhere, the iPad Pro was just so many light years ahead of this. It's so much lighter. It draws so much better. There's not lag, there's not all the glitches. So I just feel like if you want to Wacom and you want to draw on a larger tablet, the Cintiq Pro to me is much better. Even drawing on the screen, I'm not actually sure if the screens are the same, but I felt like there was more drag on here in the sense of like it was easier for me to draw a smooth line. I'm a new artist, so I'm still learning. I don't honestly know a lot about drawing yet, but it was much more comfortable and easier for me to draw what I wanted on here versus this screen. And like I was saying earlier, just the non-responsiveness, it kind of getting stuck and being glitchy was frustrating for me, whereas on this I didn't notice that at all. Initially, I kept going for these mobile options because what I need right now as a new artist is to draw every day. I need to practice drawing. I don't necessarily need to make an amazing masterpiece yet. So that's why I was like, okay, I want something I can sit in bed and draw with when I don't feel well, or sit in my comfy little, chase lounge and draw on there. But honestly, like this is really heavy. It's very heavy and the battery life is very short. So it's only a mobile solution in the sense that you don't need to have a computer, so that you can maybe take it somewhere else where you can keep it plugged in and have some type of surface. I think this on my lap would get pretty uncomfortable compared to the iPad Pro. So I wasn't really able to get what I wanted out of having it mobile, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna just change my mind and go with something that is easy to draw on and works well the way it's supposed to, and that's what I found with the Cintiq Pro. I forgot I was gonna show you guys what my specs were for my computer. because I think, you know, that's obviously why this works better, because this is working off the specs of whatever computer you plug it into, the Cintiq, versus the Mobile Studio with its built-in thing. The Mobile Studio, right now, it came with Windows 10. You can look up the specs online, but my computer specs for my computer are Windows 7. I had my husband write this down for me. I'm gonna move it right here so I can read it off to you guys. Intel Core i7 6th generation, 8 cores at 3.2 gigahertz. I have no idea what that means. 64 gigabytes of RAM, DDR3 RAM, SSD system drive, and my graphics processor is an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080. So that's what is running the Cintiq Pro. So anyway, just all that said, for the price of this, you can get an iPad Pro cheaper if what you want is mobile. If you're not so much concerned about the mobile, then definitely go with the Cintiq Pro. This was cheaper and it's like way bigger. And I felt like it just all around worked a lot better. So that's just my opinion. I'm gonna be sending this back. I also really like the Express remote on the Cintiq Pro because there's more buttons. I'm definitely finding these little remote key things really useful. And anyway, I hope that that was useful to you guys. And again, I'll have a review video about the iPad Pro and the Mobile Studio Pro that you can check out as well. Okay, bye.